Well, good afternoon and welcome to Craven Park, Barrow for the 3rd Division Stones Bitter Championship fixture. Keighley the visitors this afternoon. Certainly a nice sunny afternoon up here in Cumberland, and the pitch in excellent condition. Grass everywhere you look, not a bare patch in sight, and certainly very, very firm underfoot. Should give the conditions for a very good, fast, open game. Plenty of movement as far as the players are concerned, and Mark Robinson with me this afternoon. Mark, your thoughts on this game up here in Barrow?
Well, always a difficult task to come up to Cumbria and play these big Cumbrian sides. Fortunate for Keighley at the moment. I think this side going through a bit of a transitional period, but again I'm sure it'll be a hard task for Keighley this afternoon, John.
Well, thank you, Mark. Then just quickly through the teams. The referee in the centre of the park there with the two captains. Referee this afternoon is Dave Carter from Widnes. And the Keighley side at full-back John Walker, the three-quarters John Vasilou, Carlton Farrell, Mark Milner and Andy Stevenson, Keith Dixon, Andy Ayres, the half-backs, and Greg Harley, Jason Ramshaw, Joe Grimmer, Steve Hall, Ian Gately and Martin Wood the forwards. The Keighley substitutes Mark Brook Cowden and Charlie McAllister. And for Barrow at full-back Roy Robinson, the three-quarters John Wilde, Chris Colosi, Chris Honey, Steve Carey, half-back Steve Ray and Wayne Jackson, Bob Eccles, Steve Shaw, Neil Casson, Darren Carter, Stuart Rhodes, Sean Morrow make up the forwards, and the substitutes Derek Hadley and Carl Wright. The toss-up taking place. It's Barrow who've won the toss. Keighley will be kicking off with the sun at the backs and playing into the wind, which is more or less coming from the left-hand corner nearest to us as the referee gets the game underway. The ball deep into the Barrow territory. Just a little bit of a fumble there over the far side. Nonetheless, managing to regather. It's Carlton Farrell and Ian Gately doing the early tackling. Jason Ramshaw also involved there again with Carlton Farrell as Barrow still keeping this ball close round the acting half position, just using the driver to gain yards towards the halfway line. And Keighley caught offside over here. Martin Wood or Andy Ayres, take your pick, it could have been either. And certainly the referee, Mr. Carter, that's not a good kick. In fact, it did go into touch, but had the wingman been back on station, I feel Andy Stevenson may well have caught that ball. But certainly Mr. Carter denying Keighley what he was allowing Whitehaven to get away with before, and that was encroaching on the 10-metre line. That's when Whitehaven were down at Keighley earlier in the season. And in fact, another penalty there to Barrow, this time for one in the head area. So that's two penalties inside the first minute. And it looks like an early opportunity for Barrow to attempt to convert this penalty into points. It's on the 20-metre line and it's about a dozen metres in from touch. Keighley, of course, not had a hand on the ball as yet. The crowd, such as it is, very quiet as the attempt goes, and it's not a good attempt, taken underneath the post there by Keith Dixon. Andy Stevenson running that ball out well, gets beyond the 10-metre line before tackle, in fact halfway towards the 20, and that's holding down, and a little nudge by the boot from number 12, Stuart Rhodes. Referee just had a quick word with him there. Leave it alone, keep it out. And Barrow there not doing the cause any good at all. They had Keighley inside their own 20-metre area and give away a silly penalty for laying on. Steve Hall, Steve Hall not taking that ball. In fact, everybody sort of knocking on both ways. So we've got a scrum 30 metres out. Launching the attack now, Barrow over on the left-hand side through the hands of number 12, but it's the opposite number 12, Ian Gately, who brings Rhodes down. Barrow play the ball quickly, But still insisting on using the single drive to attempt to breach that Keighley defence. Switching the ball now outside to the loose forward, Sean Morrow. Offloads well, in fact it's touched by a Keighley hand there, so it's back to one. It was Wayne Jackson who intercepted the ball. And in fact it looks as though Morrow may well have just taken a knock there. As Barrow now get inside the Keighley 10-metre area, 5 from the line. It's certainly tackling time for Keighley at the moment. Ball coming across field, a deep line set out, and number 8 Bob Eccles there, stumbling, falling, slipping, call it what you will, as Barrow now switched the ball back over to that left-hand side. 20 metres out, the last tackle. In fact, 5 metres backwards from that count back as the ball goes back for, well, a charge down there. Is the referee going to count it back, or is it a genuine charge down? Well, it looked to be a charge down, Mark. I don't know, but he's counted it back, saying Keighley effectively went for that ball. Yes,
John, in that case, I think he gave the right decision. I think Steve went to charge the ball down. Unfortunately for Keighley, it's meant another 6 tackles for Barrow. They're doing well, though. They seem to be keeping this Barrow side out. Always difficult to come up here, and it's easy for sides to come up here and be a bit tired after the journey. Let's hope it's not the case today, John.
Well, then Barrow now launching the attack into the centre of the field, taking their eyes off the ball, and in fact offside there. Martin Wood wisely not dropping on that ball. He saw that Neil Casson was in an offside position, and really Barrow, victim of their own. Thought that ball was coming in for us, that's hence the silence. Barrow just victim of their own indiscipline there. In fact, it was Bob Eccles again who knocked the ball on, but this is Greg Keighley for Keighley. Jason Ramshaw acting half-back onto Andy Ayres, brings on Ian Gately, the big fella burst through the first tackle, but there was sufficient done there to bring him down. Steve Hall again, looking for the halfway line. Being laid on again by Wayne Jackson, but referee this time saying it's okay as Ayres gets the ball across to Dixon. Dixon gets the ball back as Gately breaks the halfway line. Keighley just putting 1 or 2 passes together now as Dixon again onto Wood. Wood got Milner outside him, and Wood's still going, but he's 10 metres inside the Barrow half. It's the last one coming up. There's Milner there. And here comes Dixon's kicking for that. Well, I thought he was going to put the ball up for the chase into the bottom corner, but not able to do so. Andy Stevenson missing the tackle there. And the ball gets out to the wing. Looked as though it might have been a shade forward, but difficult to say. Right on the halfway line then as Barrow coming into the Keighley half. 10 metres inside. Barrow spin the ball across, but it's back inside to Casson. Casson, in fact, Keighley going to be penalised, and pulling out the Keighley player, Mr. Carter. The penalty's 3-2 at the moment. Ian Gately, the man being pulled out. I didn't see what went on there, Mark, did you?
No, I can't understand that decision, John. The referee was in no position to give that decision. He's that busy trying to marshal the 10 metres that he's not looking after the play of the ball. So how he gave that decision, John, I'll never know.
Ours is not to wonder why. As Barrow then launched another attack into the Keighley 20-metre area. Very, very deep line again out by Barrow as Eccles tackled right in front of the post, 10 metres from the line. Keighley defence coming up quickly on the far side, and certainly that man caught in no man's land. Looks like it might be Darren Carter, the number 11. And again it's Eccles switching the ball inside to the scrum half offloading there to the wingman, loses the ball in the tackle. Wingman John Wild lost that ball in the tackle, tried to cover it with his body, but referee Carter had in fact seen that he'd spilled the ball. Oh, it's a scrum down then on the Keighley 10-metre line. Out to Keighley as Ayres spots a gap round the blind side, or the open side rather, of the scrum. Just unable to get into gear as Gately looked to offload but realised that Carlton Farrell was in no position to take the ball. Joe Grimmer tackled just short of the halfway line. None of the Barrow right flank defence in any position to be onside at all, as Milner gets a lovely ball there from Mark Wood. And again, the Barrow players not getting back to the mark. The man right in front of the referee, ignoring him completely. Mr. Carter certainly not keeping anywhere near the play at all, as fullback Roy Robinson runs this ball out then for Barrow. Across the field there to Sean Morrow. Sean Morrow, though, tackled, not making any yardage forward at all. The referee has a cursory glance across the Keighley line there. Darren Carter tackled in possession there. May have been a bit in the head area, but Mr. Carter says no, as this time it's Casson spilling the ball as Neil Wood gets the ball out. Sorry, Martin Wood out there. It's Paul Keith Dixon onto John Vasileau, but Vasileau's got nowhere to go. He tried to get inside, but all the defenders were lined up in front of him. Nowhere for him to go inside as Milner shovels that ball out. Dixon does well to pick it up, gets a nice ball out to Martin Wood via the hands of Jason Ramshaw. And Ian Gately then on to Ramshaw. Andy Ayres skipping through, and through to the try line. A lovely try there by Andy Ayres. 9-10 minutes on the clock. And that was bad defence really by Barrow that allowed Andy through there, wasn't it, Mark?
Yes, very poor, John. A lot of standstill defence out wide there. And as soon as Andy saw the gap, he went through, and nobody can touch him for pace once he sees that gap, John.
Yes, it certainly was a nice try there by Andy. Reminiscent of those that he was scoring prior to his injury. And that extra yard of pace just saw him through the, well, some really woeful tackling by the Barrow defence. John Vasileau then looks to add to his tally for the season. And looking at the flag at the top of the stand that John's kicking this ball at, the wind is extremely strong and across the face of the post. But no mistake with that one. That's through the centre. Keighley 6, Barrow 0. 11 minutes on the clock. So then Barrow to restart towards the left-hand side, using the wind, not kicking the ball into the wind, which is, as we said a moment or two ago, coming across the field diagonally from our left-hand side. Steve Hall, 30 metres, as well, that man right by the side of Mr. Carter, breaking before the ball going down. Darren Carter, in fact, the offender, as Dixon kicks towards the far side. Run round between Keighley and Ramshaw then. Joe Grimmer this time though taking the ball on. Little knock on, says the referee. Keighley losing advantage there of the set of 6. But a good push Barrow off, but that wasn't good enough. That again spilled. And certainly not the best of passes there by Steve Ray, but it's the other Steve Hall, who picks that ball up. Ian Gately coming down on that pass a mile forward as Vasileau goes in. Vasileau's going to go under the post or as near as he can. And I don't think the coaching staff of Keighley, Mark, will be at all happy with John Vasilow's antics there. The first priority is, when you're over the line, get the ball down, isn't it?
Exactly, John. I'm sure it'd have been for the high jump there if he hadn't grounded that ball. There's no place for clowning about in professional rugby league these days. And I'm a bit surprised at John there.
Yes, it's all very well trying to make it easy for yourself when you've got the conversion to come, but I think when John has a look at that on the tape afterwards, he'll too realise the foolishness of his ways on that occasion. But as it was, it's a try under the post for Keighley. But again, right down below as the pass came to John Vasilow, looked to be a little bit forward, Ian, Mark.
Yeah, I agree with you there, John. It looked a bit forward to me, but referee Carter, obviously, again, not able to see that. I don't know how well he was up with play at the time, but the touch judge gave no indication to him, and the try stands, John.
So then John Vasilow converts his own, gets it to 12 points to 0, the 14th minute of the game. And I think, just bearing in mind what Mark said about the position of the referee for that forward pass, certainly may not have been in position, or may well have been obstructed by some of the Keighley players indeed. But he does have a touch judge on this side, but when I've seen this guy before, he's not particularly used his touches. Probably doesn't tell them to interfere. That's a good kick-off there, right down into the Keighley 10-metre area. Andy Stevenson wisely using his body to bring the ball under control. Steve Hall again, not the best of passes there from Jason Ramshaw, I think. The referee says that's a knock-on. Steve Hall protests, and Jason Ramshaw just taps him on the shoulder and tells him to calm it down. Out then to Barrow on this side. Colosi gets the ball out to Wild. Wild gets to the 10-metre line before being tackled. Whole litter of bodies up here, difficult to see through them as Barrow tried to burrow the way through. It's number 12, Stuart Rhodes, doing his utmost to burrow his way through there, but there's Keighley and Wood and Joe Grimmer on station. Slowly to play the ball. So slow, in fact, he almost went to sleep. Joe Grimmer round like a rocket there to prevent him play the ball, as Wild tries, rather foolishly, I believe, on the last tackle to burrow his way through. It was screaming out for a ball across the field quickly there from Barrow, but they just decided they were going to try and burrow through, Mark.
Yes, John, there's just absolutely no comparison in the Barrow side today as the side we had the great battle with in the Challenge Cup last year. What an ordinary side this side is. They seem absolutely clueless near to the Keighley line, John.
Yes, it's sad to see is that, because certainly they were a very competitive side last season with the, as Mark rightly remarks, of the cup competition. Andy Ayres then, Dixon just juggling with the ball. John Walker through the gap. Walker's going, a nice ball out to Vasilow, well taken by the wingman. He's going round, but he's taken out by Roy Robinson on this near touchline side. Milner then gets the ball out to Dixon. Dixon on to Ayres. Ayres offers it to Keighley, offers it again to Ramshaw. It's out to Martin Wood. Wood out there to Stevenson. Stevenson decides to come on, may well have done better going down into the corner, but it's the left tackle.
Stack 'em in, Johnny!
Keighley spread across the field there as Barrow desperately tried to get away out of that danger area of theirs inside the 20 metres. 2 tackles already used and they barely moved off the spot. This time there's another 10 gained into the midfield area as Keighley then doing the tackling. Colosi, the number 3 centre, gets the ball off, but looks like Steve Ray left with absolutely no, that's not Steve Ray's, it's the other centre. And now comes the boot upfield. John Walker back on station in the full-back position, goes for it on the first bounce, takes it well, gets to the halfway line, but well tackled by the Barrow defenders. Stevens again running across the centre of the field. Good tackle there by the number 8 Eccles. 5 metres inside the Barrow half. Ayres onto Dixon, Dixon onto Milner, Milner spots the gap, looks to get through, John Vasilou comes inside. The referee didn't see that, but this time the touch judge did indicate to the referee that the ball had been spilled in the tackle, and so we'll go down to scrum some 20 metres inside the Barrow half of the field. £12 points to 6 in Keighley's favour at the moment as we get towards the halfway point in this first half. Ray gets the ball out then to Morrow. Morrow again running across the face of play, offering it all the time, but there's nobody really coming to help him to take that ball from him. The wingman effectively running away from him. Barrow scrum half, Wayne Jackson there again doing the actions with the arms but not parting with the ball. Eccles almost surrenders there to Greg Keighley. Last tackle, 10 metres still inside the Barrow half of the field, and it's back then for Steve Ray to put the ball upfield high in the air in the no man's land area between the bobby and the fullback. Andy Ayres just looking to get through somewhere, needs to settle down though, does so, and it's Keighley then acting half back onto Dixon. Out to Carlton Farrell. Carlton Farrell brought down by his opposite number Chris Honey, or by number 4 Chris Honey, but this is Ramshaw. Ramshaw not able to get up, certainly being laid all over by Stuart Rhodes. And the 10 metres, I think Mark, it certainly initially was being laid all over. The referee took no action and then he fell for it when Jason, I think, possibly held him back.
Well, it's one of those decisions where I think it's 6 and 1 half dozen other. I think in the first instance Jason was definitely being held down, but he milked it and got the penalty. But again, the referees just don't seem to police to play the balls these days, and these silly penalties seem to be occurring more frequently, John.
Yes, very true that. Then it's Keighley though, as Steve Hall takes a bad ball and makes a good pass out of it, but well defended there by Barrow, stopping the big fella as he charged for that line. Out to Jason Ramshaw, there could be a crossing there. The referee says, does he say crossing? No, in fact he's given a forward pass. Well, there's one of the Barrow players prone over the try line there as the referee just stops the clock. Certainly felt the weight of the Keighley man coming through there. But it's the sort of passes that I think, Mark, that it's either OK or it's fouled. It's so close, is that type?
That's right, it's the pass that sort of hits along the line of the Barrow defence and gets a running man. If it hadn't gone forward, then Keighley were over for a try. It's a ploy that they use a lot at the moment, John.
Well, then the injured player resumes. And we're looking to a scrum then on that 10-metre line. Keighley will be again looking for a big push. But there's no big... There may well have been a big push, but in fact it looks as though Keighley are being penalised for breaking, presumably before the ball came out. That ball safely into touch then, 20 metres from the halfway line. Barrow looking to get forward, and comments about the surface being firm and good before the game, certainly from Barrow's point of view, don't seem to be holding good. And again, a bad mistake there by Barrow. Fortunately for them, it was also knocked on by Keighley. The first knock on, of course, will count. Dixon then on to John Walker, just hesitating slightly as he looked to get through the gap, but still does well. 25 metres from the line now as Andy Ayres throws the ball out wide to Martin Wood. Martin Wood running out round the defence at the far side. Looked to offload, but no opportunity for him to do so as Andy Stevenson once more drives into those forwards. Well, the crowd behind the post saw something there that the referee either didn't see, chose to ignore. Almost crossing there by Ian Keighley, being used by Greg Keighley. Ball switched out now, a long ball out to Dixon, by Dixon I should say, spilled by Stevenson. Martin Wood was obstructed there, definitely obstructed by the scrum half, Wayne Jackson, as he attempted to get to the man with the ball. Nonetheless, it was the winger Steve Carey who managed to get into the half of the field, and knock on there, totally ignored by the referee, no assistance by the touch judge, and Colosi off the floor with the ball, and Morrow tackled in possession, gets up and tackled there. Ian Keighley could well have been offside there, the referee ignores it though. And as the snow starts to come down here, it's Barrow attacking as Ray puts an awful ball out to the wing on the far side. Carey doing extremely well to pick that one up. Barrow then still in possession, chip the ball forward. Jason Ramshaw adjudged to be offside. Certainly it hit the boot of Ian Keighley. Whether he was in front of him when it hit his boot or not, Mark, is down to the referee, I suppose.
Yeah, it was just one of those balls that hits the player, and it's an instinctive thing that you drop on the ball. I think it was just slightly in front, and in that case the referee's given the correct decision, John.
Yes, so then it looks as though it's the winger John Wilde is going to make an attempt at converting and getting Barrow onto the score sheet, trailing at the moment by 12 points to 0. So then Wilde launches that one at the post, and the touch judges this time confirm the point. So it's Barrow on the score sheet then. 12 points to 2 the trail, 25 minutes on the clock. Keith Dixon then just carefully planting that ball on the sandcastle in the centre. And you could see there how that ball held in the wind as to the strength of the wind, which is veering now and coming almost straight down the field. At the back of Barrow, of course, as they come within 15 metres of the halfway line. Roy Robinson, the fullback, gets up, plays the ball, and it's moving out the far side. But again, the Keighley defence far too quick for loose forward Steve Morrow, still struggling with that injury that he caught in the first minute of the game over the far side. In fact, now getting some attention from the Barrow physio. Eccles involved in that run around out to Colosi, but Colosi tackled in possession by Mark Milner, 5 metres inside the Barrow half. It's the last tackle as the prop Eccles puts that ball into touch on the far side. Certainly a certain amount of hesitation by Eccles there as he looked as to where he was putting it. And in fact we look as though we're going to have a substitution for Barrow, the loose forward. Well, he's having his knee taped up on the field, but there's certainly a substitution of 14 Derek Hadley warming up on the far side, and the 13 board is available. This is Keighley now as Andy Ayres gets the ball out. Carlton Farrell again just receiving a little nudge there, a friendly nudge from Colosi. Mark Milner going through the gap. Had his hair trod on there, did Milner, by the second row, but this is Andy Ayres now, skips through the gap, comes back inside. There's a whole load of Barrow players around him, but that was a very good break by Andy Ayres. 25 metres out from the Barrow line as the ball comes across through Wood, but Wood not the best of passes from Keith Dixon there, unable to hang on to that ball, giving away the advantage to Barrow and allowing them to attempt to get into the opposite half of the field, but the ball lost there. And Keighley, in fact, making a substitution. Mark Brooke-Cowden, the man going on. Steve Hall is the man who looks as though he's coming off. Looks as though he's got a knock. He's certainly limping. Mark Brooke-Cowden then goes on to replace Hall. It's a second row for a second row. So then it's Keighley's head and feet in this scrum as Andy Ayres gets it in, and again sort of bent that round the back of the scrum as Dixon's turning round, nowhere to go there at all, particularly as Ramshaw then this time. It's Joe Grimmer, well met by the Barrow defence as Keighley again tackled in possession on the 20-metre line, 10 metres out. Ramshaw on there to Mark Brooke-Cowden. Mark Brooke-Cowden looked as though he was going to score. He was coming up like a train there, was Mark, as the ball moves across through Ayres. Ayres on there to Martin Wood, is it? In by the side of the post. A good try there, a simple try really, but certainly how Mark Brooke-Cowden came onto that ball.
Yes, lovely there. He was unfortunate to score the try. A nice little move there. The short ball off the man in possession. And then immediately the ball was moved wide by Keighley. Again, standstill Barrow defence, not working at all in defence. And Keighley just playing straightforward, supporting the man with the ball rugby and scoring the try, John.
Yes, and that's what it is all about. Certainly supporting the man in possession and coming up, and that's what Keighley's been doing. Apart from the John Vasilou try, which was a runway down this touchline side, it's been good support play all the way around. John then with the relatively simple task of converting this one. And the try is converted. Well, the touch judge just having a word with the referee. Something's been said by possibly, I don't know, one of the players behind the line there. In fact, the referee calling out number 3, Chris Colosi. And in fact, Barrow now making that substitution. Derek Hadley come on the field to replace the injured Sean Morrow. "30 minutes gone then as Barrow restart, trailing 18 points to 2. Well taken there on the full by Keith Dixon. Mark Brooke-Cowden driving the ball in, gets a good 10-15 metres before being tackled as Andy Stevens going on his own again from acting half. A good 10 metres again by this wingman who seems to like doing the forwards roll. And Ayres on to Grimmer. Grimmer bursts the first tackle but unable to get round the man as he was going down, as he went round. Martin Wood looks for the man, onto Ramshaw. Ramshaw met head on there by fullback Robinson, and it's Wood again onto Ayres. Ayres out to Dixon. Dixon taking the ball across to Carlton Farrell. Carlton Farrell without the wingman. Andy Stevenson back tying his bootlaces back beyond by his own 15 metres inside his own half as Dixon puts a high ball up, but the wind's taking that. And it's spilled there, gone back though, says the referee, spilled by scrum half Wayne Jackson. A good, well-weighted kick there by Dixon, causing no end of problem in the Barrow defence. Barrow then still struggling to get to that 20-metre line. Slowly to the feet, the crowd behind the post still giving some stick to that Barrow player who made the comments after the last Keighley try. And again, the hesitancy of the prop Eccles as he looked upfield to see where the ball in fact was, or where the players, the Keighley defence were lined up, I should say. Picked his spot almost to the inches to where he wanted that ball to go into touch. Driving Keighley back some 40 metres or so. Ball out then to Keighley. Again it's Stevenson running in. Gets up, plays the ball. Dixon through the hands of Ayres onto Milner. Milner half stopped by Colozzi. Eventually brought to ground 5 metres inside his own half of the field as Ramshaw acting half back onto Dixon. Dixon through the hands to Keighley. Keighley gets to the halfway line but loses the ball, does he? Must have lost it because the referee quite happy that it wasn't stolen. The body of Ian Keighley shielding the vision as to where the ball had been to, as Wild then goes through the centre. 5 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Looked a bit forward there, Mr. Carter agrees. Dixon onto John Walker. John Walker brought down 5 metres inside his own half, gets up, plays the ball. Dixon onto Mark Brook-Cowden. That man not having regained the 10 metres there, but the referee allowing Steve Ray to get away with that one as Milner this time. Milner onto Ramshaw, acting half. Andy Ayres runs round with Greg Keighley, steps inside, tries to get through the defence, but there's no way through for him this time. Keighley onto Grimmer. Grimmer just doing the driving in, his strength taking him to the 20-metre line before he gets brought down as Ramshaw again onto Dixon. Dixon puts the one over the top. It's going to cause problems. Almost taken out of the hands of Robinson, but a nice ball out there for Barrow over the far side. As Chris Honey almost made a mess of that, as Barrow still coming forward, but there's nowhere really for them to go, and the penalty's going to go there to Barrow for the tackle round the neck, in the neck and head area. Ball into touch then, some 25 metres from the Keighley line, 35 from the Keighley line. Neil Casson driving the ball in, first man. Run round with Eccles. Oh, and what a good tackle there by Jason Ramshaw. And almost half asleep Wayne Jackson as he was messing about there. Ramshaw certainly saw what was going on, but that's a lovely kick there, but not taken. Dropped on again, and well, that was no way back to one. No way was that back to one. Stuart Rhodes dropped the ball. A Keighley man never got near it, but Mr. Carter putting Keighley under unnecessary pressure here as Wild gets the ball out, and it is a Wild pass as well. Darren Carter just attempting to settle the Barrow attack down onto Ray. Ray moves the ball out there to Holden. Hadley rather. Hadley though tackled in possession in front of the Keighley post, but 20 metres from the line. And again it's Eccles just running round there, and that's, well, the referee was about to blow there for the knock on, but realised that Johnny Walker was going to drop on the ball. Andy Ayres, there's taken round the top by Eccles, but this time the referee, having just penalised somebody for a similar sort of tackle, ignores that one. Number 11 there, miles offside. The referee, Carter, certainly not taking Barrow but anywhere near tin, Mark.
No, Johnny, it started off the first 2 minutes penalising Keighley for offside, and then since then he's totally ignored both sides, to be fair, but especially the Barrow side are standing offside.
Yes, and that's going to shut the entire play down and not allow any fast-flowing rugby at all. this time taking back the full 10. It's the last tackle as Dixon puts the ball high in the air. That's a good kick, is that, for the chase. Fullback Robinson does well though, under tremendous pressure from Jason Ramshaw to take that ball. 25 metres out from the Barrow line as Barrow look to restart once more. And that's the wingman Keighley over the far side, tackled. He's made 5 metres sideways, but absolutely non-forward. ...20 metres from the halfway line then, as Barrow still looking to get yardage advantage. And Hadley there making an absolute meal. And what the touch judge is in, I don't know what he's coming on for. And in fact, it looks as though Mr. Carter's going to take the ultimate sanction here and put Greg Keighley in the sin bin for intervention. Well, I didn't see that, and I don't know whether we saw it on tape or not, but that to me looked... well, the touch judge was so late coming on, it's unbelievable.
Yes, it seemed a bit of an innocuous challenge to me. I didn't see the incident, to be honest, John. But again, I think it's just a case of the Barrow number 8 just milking it and the touch judge buying it hook, line and sinker.
Yeah, it certainly did, and I think that's going to fire Keighley up, because Mr. Carter's given them absolutely no favours whatsoever in this first half. And it looks like there could be a score here, but what a tremendous tackle there by fullback John Walker. And that ball put down to ground and Fat lost. It's back to 1 though, says the referee. Looked to me as though it might have been lost as Colosi goes in towards the corner. And driven back by those Keighley tacklers. Colosi slow to his feet then as gets the ball out to Hadley. A run round there with the Barrow number 9, Steve Shaw, right in front of the Keighley posts. Keighley don't want to concede a try now. We're in injury time, we're in stoppage time of this first half. As the ball goes back there, it's the number 8, Eccles. He's the man who caused the man to be sent to go into the sin bin. And really, I think that goes right the way back to that sin binning offence there, where I've got to say, really, that the referee has just given Barrow a try, really.
Well, yes, I could see nothing wrong with the sin binning. All I can say, really, though, about the Keighley defence is Keith Dixon missed the Barrow number 8, and Keighley paid for it.
Yeah, the try coming right in 30 seconds of, almost a minute, in fact, of injury time. To the wingman on the far side, Steve Keighley. And it'll be John Wild, I would imagine, who attempts to add the extras to make the Barrow half-time score a little bit more respectable. Currently standing 18 points to 6, I beg your pardon. First half scorers for Keighley, Andy Ayres, John Vassalou and Martin Wood, and three conversions by John Vassalou. That conversion unsuccessful as the half-time hooter goes, and Barrow's try scorer there being Steve Keighley, and 1 goal, penalty goal to John Wild. Then half-time score, Keighley 18, Barrow 6. Half-time break over then as the Barrow players retake the field. Just had a quick chance during the half-time break to have a look at the incident that resulted in Greg Keighley going to the sin bin. Certainly very innocuous as far as we were concerned anyway. Did nothing more than stand in his opposite number 8 Eccles' way. Nothing more than that. And yet the referee decided on the intervention of the touch judge on this side that it was a sin binning offence. Certainly rather harsh, but that's the way of the game, that's the way the cookie crumbles, Mark. We're looking this half now with Keighley playing with the wind behind the back to some control football and hopefully some points.
Yes, John, I'm sure we'll see the Keith Dixon kicking game this half, and hopefully Keith will keep the Barrow side restricted to playing in their own half and press home this advantage that they've taken in at half-time.
As indeed they spent most of the first half in their own half, but certainly the first moments of the second half are going to be in the Keighley half as Eccles prepares to restart. Down into the, looking to get to the 20-metre area. Just a little bit of indecision there between Ayres and Dixon as to who was going to get the ball. Andy Ayres deciding that he was the man who was going to have to do the job. This is Mark Brooke-Cowden though, running out, bursting away from the play. The referee getting in his way. In fact, the referee getting in almost every player's way there as Mark Brooke-Cowden, tremendous run into the Barrow half of the field. Oh, a bad pass there out to Dixon, and not a very good pass either from Milner to Vassalou. But it's a knock-on. Certainly not the best of passes going out there. Two bad passes really, Mark.
Yes, Keighley trying to force play a bit there instead of just settling it down and then playing in the right areas of the field. The pass from Milner wasn't a good pass, but neither was the one before. But they must not try to force the game at the moment. Just play the steady game and play in the right areas of the field.
Robinson then tackle there, and it looks like John Walker. Well, in fact, John Walker's been walked. Tripping. Looked as though, in fact, it could have been a tripping offence on Robinson, but Johnny Walker taking a rest after only a minute and a half. A rest that will last for the rest of the game. And Keighley then now down to 11 because as Greg Keighley's still got 6 or 7 minutes to serve in the sin bin. Johnny Walker will be most disappointed with that. Fullback Robinson limps back into his position. And it's Barrow then. Keighley got to finish this half with only 12 players. That is assuming that Greg Keighley gets on fairly soon. But it's going to be tackling time for Keighley now. They've got a tremendous amount of work to do without the two players there. Wayne Jackson inside the Keighley 10-metre area. Eccles again stepping inside, looks to get through to the Keighley try line, but he's tackled in possession, a couple of metres short of the line. As Barrow spin the ball across there to Jackson. Jackson loses the ball, but it's a knock-on there as Dixon half intercepted it, not able to regather. But Dixon doing his sniffing routine in the line there. Not coming off on that occasion, just breaking down the Barrow movement. That ball out then to Barrows. Jackson well tackled by Ayres. Driving Keighley back as Keighley comes forward. Mark Brooke-Cowden doing the tackle there as Keighley looking to offload, refusing to go down, walking off the spot. Ian Gately there doing the tackling then on Rhodes. 10 metres from the Keighley line. Barrow still coming forward, a big deep V formation, trying like fun to milk a penalty there as the ball comes back across field through the hands of Jackson to Hadley, run round, and Hadley thwarted there by Joe Grimmer in his attempts to dummy his way through. Carlton Farrell missing the tackle there on Steve Carey, but the combination on this wing side finishing them off, certainly for the time being anyway. But Barrow still coming forward. Ray loses the ball, the referee says it's okay, it's gone back. Eccles hesitates and throws the Keighley defence there, gets through the gap, but it's the last one now. Ball played quickly out through the hands of Ray on the far side. Robinson tackle, loses the ball, but it was the last one. Now then, I think that could well be a count back. That's a turnover. The referee Carter made a basic mistake there. That was the last tackle. He said Keighley's made the knock-on. OK, Keighley did make the knock-on in the interception attempt, so perhaps he may well be right on that occasion, but I've certainly no real confidence in Mr Carter's decisions at all. Whichever way they're going, that is. Play just halted then whilst a Barrow player receives some attention, but we're seeing exactly the same sort of pressure mark from Barrow as we saw in the early stages of the first half, where Keighley conceded something like 24 tackles on the trot.
That's right. If Keighley stand back and let this Barrow side play football, then they'll pay for the consequences. This Barrow have lively half-backs, and the Keighley are going to have to work hard with this scramble defence whilst the 2 men down.
Yeah, but the time clock's still ticking on. 5 minutes of the second half gone. Greg Harley just stretching off and running up and down the touchline side here as he tries to work his time out, and Barrow scramble there to get the ball out. The scrum half of Jackson eventually gets it out and looks around and comes to the line, but tackles short. A run round again there, going round the back as Carlton Farrell this time makes sure for Keighley. Now needs to settle down for Keighley. They've conceded tackle after tackle, and a good run again there by Mark Brook-Cowden, getting back all the ball stripped out of the hand there. This touch judge says nothing, and really the touch judge on this side totally ignoring the fact the ball was definitely, no doubt about it, pulled out of Mark Brook-Cowden's hand there. Absolutely no question. So we've now got a scrum down, but we've now got the advantage of Greg Harley back on the field. But of course he's going to have to be careful, because if he does infringe again, it's a full one next time. Robinson going on his own from acting half. 30 metres out, 15 in from the far touchline side. Big hit tackle there by Ian Keighley, but nonetheless the player still manages to get the ball away, not expecting it. Run round again there. Hadley dummies as the ball goes inside there to the scrum half Jackson, but good tackling eventually by Keighley, stopping Jackson getting any further. It's 10 metres out. Ray then on to Eccles. Eccles onto the number 3, Colosi. He's under the post. Keighley fell for the same trick that they've scored the tries from in the first half there, Mark.
Yes, Keith Dixon to me appeared to go for the interception there. Definitely not the right place or position on the field. A bit surprised Keighley are going to have to knuckle down now and play the right football. Look after the ball in the right areas of the field and make this Barrow side play the difficult football out of their own half, John.
Yeah, and certainly interceptions are not the sort of thing that you try underneath your own post. As the major problem with an interception, of course, is if you miss, you leave a massive hole from where you've left the defensive line. As it is, Colosi puts the points on the board for Barrow, and it's Wild looking to add the extra 2, which he does successfully. And the number 11, Darren Carter's left the field for Barrow. Not sure it's a full substitution or a blood bin. Carl Wright, the man who will have taken his place. As Dixon then kicks off for Keighley, puts the ball into the Barrow territory. Knocked on. Hadley there knocked on, in fact. Very slow, the referee, in making an indication. It looked as though he was, well, I don't really know what it looked as though he was going to do. He just didn't make a decision at all until the man tried to get up and run the ball, Mark.
No, he's a strange referee, this fellow. He doesn't keep up with play. His signalling is very poor. The players are confused as to what decisions he's given. It's just a shame we've lost the control of referees at Chapeltown Road, because I'm sure that this fellow could be looked at.
Yes, as it is, it's holding down to marking now. No assessors, no nothing. As Ian Keighley runs in, takes one, a horrible one round the neck there to Keighley, and the referee is going to have to sin bin somebody here. Professional foul. It can't be for anything else. It's a professional foul for holding down. It's certainly not for the head high, because he doesn't have the option of that. The option for head high is penalty or walk. Stuart Rhodes, the man taking the mandatory 10-minute rest. John Vasilou, the man who will be looking to punish it. Just 10 minutes on the clock then, as John Vasilou lines himself up for this penalty attempt. It's high, the crowd like it, and the touch judges do as well. So that's the first points of the second half for Keighley, taking them into 20, into the 20 area, 20 points to 12. Ball taken on the full there by Mark Milner over the far side of the field. Greg Keighley attempting to burst that tackle, but taking 3 Barrow players with him as he goes down. Mark Cowden within 5 metres now at the halfway line. And it's Ramshaw with the ball back there for Dixon to put the left boot to it. Searching for that touchline, but Robinson, the full-back of Barrow, he's in position. And why John Vasilou backed off there, I don't know, because he was onside once that man had touched the ball. A good scampering break there by the Barrow wingman Wild. And again, Barrow breaking through the centre of the field. Looked a bit forward there to number 15, Carl Wright, but it was a good break nonetheless by Neil Casson, and Keighley once more caught short as Ray again puts the ball out to Hadley. This Barrow side now believing they can do something as the ball goes out to this touchline side to the centre, Chris Honey, but he's tackled short of the line. It's the last tackle coming up. Scampering infield as he does, he's caught in possession, the ball lost, and Joe Grimmer, I think the man recovering it. Almost a deliberate throwaway there by the Barrow centre. And that really should be the first tackle, not the other one. It'd be interesting to see how many in the set of 6 Mr. Carter goes. That's now 2. Mark Cowden tackled for 3. Joe Grimmer now taking the ball in, offloads to Keighley. Keighley out to Ayres. Ayres has got Milner outside him. Milner steps through the hole. Going up the centre is Milner, but he's tackled, and now the referee's counted 5. That should only be 4. The advantage line had not been regained by Grimmer when he got that ball in the loose. As Keighley now offloads to Dixon. Dixon to Wood. Keighley have got the numbers here. Keighley have got the numbers. If Carlton Farrell can push his way through, he's in. Certainly a good score there by Carlton Farrell. Determination, but they did have the numbers and they used them to good effect, Mark.
Yes, you've got to congratulate Keighley for playing the game at Barrow on the last tackle rather than using the kick. They got the numbers on the outside and were rewarded with a good try from Carlton Farrell.
So then the first try of the second half then coming 14 minutes into the second half as the Keighley players just attempt to regroup back here, talking through what's going on. 1 or 2 words of wisdom being passed on as well. Again, the thing is that they've got to keep it going now and keep the pressure on Barrow as they did in the first half, and I think if they do that, then it's a matter of time before the Barrow side turn over again. John Basilou then with by far his most difficult conversion attempt so far this afternoon. The crowd goes silent as he launches it to the post, but it's going across the front. The wind taking it with it. 24 points to 12 then. 2 tries and 2 goals separating the sides. In fact, the substitution of Darren Carter was in fact only a blood bin substitution, so Carl Wright resumes his position on the bench and the substitution not being counted. Ian Keighley taking that ball well and offloading, well taken by Joe Grimmer as Andy Ayres now comes back into the centre of the field, looks to get through, but Steve Ray and Bob Eccles not in a mood to allow him through. Ramshaw on to Mark Brooke-Cowden, inside to Keighley. Keighley looks all nice ball out there as Andy Ayres strides out there through, and that's a lovely try for Keighley. Tremendous effort. Jason Ramshaw celebrates to the fans behind the post there, but that was a lovely break, interchange of play between the 2 big forwards, found Jason Ramshaw, Mark, and Andy Ayres finished, and what a finish.
Yeah, it's all made by a beautiful ball from Ian Keighley back to Jason Ramshaw, Ramshaw inside, and good support from Andy Ayres. A few players can stop him once he gets in the clear.
Very much so, and 2 tries in the space there of 2 minutes to Keighley, setting the supporters behind the sticks there alight. And that's really what they were like to see, is the long distance try, the spectacular try. But certainly all the donkey work done in the first instance by the interchange of the ball between the forwards. And what a splendid ball it was that Ian Keighley found Ramshaw with. John Basilou adds the extras. And Keighley suddenly find themselves with 30 points on the board. Mark Milner then gathering that ball inside his own 20-metre area, settling things down, allowing his players to get behind him so they can launch their attack to the halfway line. Joe Grimmer then, Ramshaw out to Mark Brooke-Cowden. Mark Brooke-Cowden steps ball back inside to Andy Ayres. Ayres strides through the first one. Ramshaw, he's got Ayres again with him. Nice on the forward pass, says the referee. And I must admit, he was on station that time. It was certainly on the ball there was the referee, but again, Jason Ramshaw, I think perhaps just might have held onto that ball a moment or two too long.
I don't know, John. I thought he should have given the ball straight back to him, in my point of view. But I think the referee gave the right decision there. I think he missed a slightly forward pass just before that. He seemed to have his back turned to play and missed one before.
Good tackle there by Colosi on Mark Milner, stopping the play there, and that was bad play there by Mark Milner. In fact, allowing the ball to be hooked back at the play of the ball. Milner not too happy with it. He's still thinking it was an unfair challenge, but once the ball's on the floor, it's open. Barrow then stepping back inside from acting half-back was the hooker's Shaw, just inside the Keighley half of the field now, as Barrow moved the ball across through the hands of the 2 half-backs, and that man being knocked on, it accidentally hit the Barrow player as it went through. The Barrow player just coming up too quickly. In fact, I suspect he may well have been coming up too slowly, because I suspect that ball was supposed to have gone round the back of him as he broke through. Ball in and out then to Keighley as Ayres gets the ball across to Wood. Wood onto Dixon. Dixon stepping through. Mark Brooke-Cowden hanging tightly onto that ball as he's been given the attention of the Barrow defenders. Andy Stevenson offloads there to Jason Ramshaw. I don't think he was expecting it, and he certainly got a hole given to him in the centre. Tackled by the scrum cap there was number 12 there, Stuart Rhodes, tackling Jason Ramshaw by the scrum cap and dragging him down when he was nowhere near the ball. Touch judge on this side, still fast asleep, of course. In fact, it's a substitution, the reason for the hold-up substitution there. Neil Casson leaving the field, and Carl Wright will be coming back on, having had a feel for it in the first 10 minutes or so of this second half, when he made a blood bin substitution for Carter. We'll scrum down then, awaits as Andy Ayres prepares to put this ball in for Keighley. It's out the back. Martin Wood dodges through, gets the ball out there to Carlton Farrell. Farrell on to Keith Dixon, and his momentum takes him over the line. Certainly the Keighley crowd again celebrating behind the post. A quick one from the back of the scrum there, Mark, and all it was through good hands.
Yes, again, good support play, good hands, and a good try from Keith Dixon. This Barrow defence doesn't seem to be able to cope with the Keighley football at the moment. I think they've capitulated, John.
So then it's just over halfway through this second half. John Vasilou looks to convert another try. This time the one of Keith Dixon. Ball, no, it misses. The touch judges confer, but they don't agree with the crowd, who thought it was on. And in fact, Keighley preparing to make another substitution. Charlie McAllister, the man coming on, and Andy Stevenson, the man coming off. Done nothing wrong, Andy Stevenson. He's had a good, solid game, and I feel it's just a matter of working out as far as Keighley are concerned, giving McAllister a run on this wing side, and hoping that his... Just advised that Charlie McAllister, in fact, will take up the centre position, with Carlton Farrell moving out to this wing. Mark Brooke-Cowden, nice offload there to Dixon. Dixon coming up the wing side, having to step back inside because he ran out of field. But both his support players went inside him. McAllister going on his own. This is back to one. The referee should count it. The referee missed that kick there by the Barrow player at the play of the ball. Didn't count back to one. As Keighley now gets into 10 metres inside and offloads to Martin Wood. Wood skips through. Greg Keighley, the man in possession, but tackles some 30 metres short of the Barrow line as McAllister lazily puts that ball up for Joe Grimmer, but lazy or not, it got there in the right area. Grimmer making a good 10 metres as he does so. Walks off the spot, plays the ball to himself. No marker present, of course. There was somebody there, but a long way off. A pass into almost no man's land there to McAllister, but he still manages to get the ball out. Martin Wood's in the gap there. Martin Wood's going, but he's brought down. But it's a back to one. It hit a Barrow hand on the way through, said the referee. Jason Ramshaw trying to burrow his way through, and it's Wood then onto Ayres. Ayres out there, so highly difficult position as the ball going back. Well, the ball certainly did go back there. No doubt, no question at all about it. But I suppose Mr. Carter, in spite of the fact that we don't think he's perfect, was probably in a better position than we are to have judged that particular offence. in inverted commas offence, of course. The ball lost in the tackle, and well, Mark, words fail me, and the referee has just had a word from a player. I don't know whether you saw that, but I saw nothing there. And
well, I can understand the frustration there with Martin Wood. That ball came free as a result of a big hit from Charlie McAllister. Top defence, knocked the ball free, and the referee just was not up with play again, John.
Nowhere near up with play, and missed a head-high tackle there as well. Joe Grimmer hitting round the face. The referee totally missed it. And the ball there being knocked on, knocked forward. John Wild there going a little bit wild as he's trying to vent his frustrations on Mark Milner. Ayres stepping through the gap. 15 metres inside the Barrow half of the field as Ramshaw this time acting half back onto Dixon, through to Keighley. Keighley offers and opens the defence out to Farrell, but it's going to be it's all on, says the referee. But in fact it must have been a knock-on as Carlton Farrell went down there, but certainly I thought it may well have been a knock-on initially, but the referee said no way.
Okay. I think the ball came off a Barrow hand, John. I think we'll see when we have a look at the video again. A Barrow hand knocked the ball towards the Barrow line, and the referee waved play on quite correctly.
Okay, but that ball then out of the back of the Barrow scrum. It's Wayne Jackson, the Barrow scrum half, trying to work his way around and clear, but not able to get away from the tackling of Keighley. And that man too suffering at the hands of Keighley and Grimmer. Ball spun out there, lost in the tackle, forward pass, knock on, call it what you want, it all happened there. 34 points to 12 the scoreline reads then. 26 minutes in this second half already gone as Andy Ayres prepares to put this ball in out the back there. Woods having to reach for that ball. Mark Milner stepping back inside, evades the first tackle, has the ball stolen. It's number 12, in fact he's pulling 12 out. I thought he was penalised for stolen, but not really, was it? Elbow perhaps?
Yeah, definite elbow there, John. He's just returned from sin binning, so this will be an interesting decision.
Well, the decision is no decision. It's a penalty against Barrow, and that looks about all it's going to be. Instructions just going out there to penalise the Barrow side for that infringement. 2 points is the order of the day. And certainly Mark Milner looking a little bit sick there as he been caught underneath the chin or in the throat, but referee Carter has had a word with the already sin bin Stuart Rhodes and decided that a penalty is sufficient. John Vassalou looking for his 6th goal then. It's through the middle. Yes, the crowd just been advised by the public address that Brian Jefferson's points in a season record has just gone. 331 was the record before. A record that has stood possibly for 17 or 18 years. Dixon just settling it down in the centre field. Martin Wood switches play back over the far side. Nice ball out there by Mark Brooke-Cowden, but unfortunately Andy Ayres unable to capitalise on it. Caught in possession. John Vasilou deciding to have a tilt himself, running in field. No way, anyway, in anybody's imagination is referee Carter taking either side anything like 10 metres back now at the play of the ball. It did that time just to confound us, but nice ball out there to Mark Brooke-Cowden, offloaded back to Martin Wood. Wood coming back across the face of play. Charlie McAllister takes that ball well, but tackled in the centre of the field, 10 metres inside the Barrow half. Joe Grimmer swats the Barrow player away, number 11 there, Carter, as though he was non-existent in fact, and this is Dixon hoisting the ball high in the air. Ball being allowed to bounce, and Greg Keighley hit it, that looked to have hit a Barrow hand there, as Carlton Farrell again taken round the top. But the inconsistency of referees today been personified by Mr. Carter this afternoon. Not all referees, I must admit. We have seen some very good referees in recent weeks, but Mr. Carter's certainly got to go in the annals of those at the bottom of the pile, I'm afraid. 9 or 10 minutes left on the clock, plus any stoppage time that the timekeepers had. Certainly Keighley moving up very quickly there to the point of possibly even being offside, but Eccles there whipping the ball back, and Barrow doing well to keep it alive, but it's been lost in possession as Gately moves the ball out now. Keighley have got the overlap over there as Milner looks to go in, gets the ball inside, and it's a try for Keighley in the corner there. John Vasilou, the man, celebrating. The ball kept very much alive there, but certainly a 2-to-1 overlap in the first instance. Andy Ayres, John Vasilou and Mark Milner. And Milner did very well to get the ball back inside there under severe pressure, Mark. Yeah,
that's right. John came inside for the ball, and Mark was able to get a basketball style pass over the top to him. Another good try for Keighley in the corner.
Registering then 7 tries on the scoreboard there to the visitors, Keighley. 2 tries coming from the man at the moment attempting to convert and score his 7th goal of the afternoon. Bit more reorganising going on below us in the Keighley side. Andy Stevenson coming back on, Joe Grimmer coming off. Charlie McAllister dropping into the second row as John Vasilou hoists the ball to the sticks, missing though marginally as the ooze coming from the stand behind. Joe Grimmer then takes his place down on the bench. I'm saying the reorganisation is Charlie McAllister into the second row as presumably Ian Gately moves up to the front. Carlton Farrell back onto the wing. He's back into the centre, I should say, and Andy Stevenson back into his place on the wing. This is McAllister bursting his way through. Gets up, plays the ball through Ramshaw. Mark Brooke-Cowden offering the ball there to Ian Gately. Gets up now, plays the ball again to Ramshaw, on to Ayres. Here's McAllister. Falls at the first tackle. And it's back now for the boot of Dixon. Owen Robinson making an absolute breakfast of that. Attempting to take the ball as it bounced. difficult situation to take a ball in under any circumstances, but when the chips are down, as they are at the moment with Barrow, that sort of a thing rarely comes off. And the Barrow scrum half there caught miles offside, almost in the back row of the Keighley pack before the ball coming out. Martin Wood puts that ball safely into touch and out of the ground. Ramshaw gets play back underway onto McAllister coming in on the first drive, but not really getting into any forward motion before being tackled. This is the way to run as Keighley charges in 10 metres inside the Barrow 10-metre area. Ramshaw again runs across play out and feeds a nice pass to the Barrow prop. Keighley support's coming down. Keith Dixon's going to catch the man. He's going to slow him down, and Mark Milner will stop him. The Barrow man was looking all the way, but there's a try on now. A try on there out of nothing. An interception there as Jason Ramshaw attempted to open the Barrow defence, Mark. Gave a lovely ball to Bob Eccles, and Eccles got to the halfway line, offloaded and through hands and under the post.
Yes, a bit of a speculative pass there from Jason, paid the price. But good backing up from the Barrow side. They kept the ball alive well, and a good try at the end of the day.
Yeah, certainly not really the sort of try that we look to be giving away in a game that's won and almost giving 6 points away, which at the end of the season could be extremely valuable 6 points.
Yeah, that's right, John. We're trying to force play a little bit there when perhaps we didn't need to. If we would have stayed there and played the game on their half, there's still to come the whole of the field to score the try, but unfortunately one of those things. We play football, sometimes these things happen, John, don't they?
Yeah, unfortunately they do, and fortunately there the conversion attempt being missed. 40 points to 16 then, with less than 4 minutes actually on the clock. Keighley need to exert the pressure now on this Barrow defence and get to at least claw those 4 points back. But it's Barrow now feeling a little more confident after having scored that try, be looking to move the ball as far forward as possible as they can in this set of 6. But some Keighley tackling there, driving Barrow back. Well, he had a marker present, there's no doubt about that. No doubt about it at all. Colosi, he knows it. He had a marker present, and in fact he could well have been penalised for throwing that ball away as well. And again, in fact this time it's number 11 Carter who kicked it away, but these are professional players, Mark. That man certainly must have known he had a man present.
Well, yeah, so you've got to look at this Barrow side and look at the scoreboard, you know. I mean, who's this penalising them kicking the ball away? I mean, they're the team in need of the points, and Keighley are going to get another 2 here. So you've got to look at the professionalism of this side, I'm afraid, John.
Yes, and John Vassalou is looking to add another 2. Well, the referee at long last decides to stop the clock. Certainly John Vassalou in his goal kicking attempts does take a tremendous length of time, but perhaps that's why he's kicked so many this season, with his immaculate and careful preparation for these goal kick attempts. No one can contradict the fact that he's scored as many as he has. Refuses to use the sand bucket, relying on the traditional method. John Basilou then, after all that time, still successful through the centre, 42 points. A number there of the Barrow players well in front of the halfway line when that ball was kicked, but as we've commented on before, so often these days it's totally ignored. I think you've probably got to be at least 10 metres in the opposition half before the penalty is given for being offside at the kick-off. The loose forward there, as soon as that ball came clear of the second row, broke and picked it up for Barrow. "40 minutes already expired on the running clock. We're now into the stoppage time that the referees added, and possibly the most of it being for that delay there when John Basilou was attempting to convert that penalty. But Barrow not giving up now. There's a substitute there. Wright gets rid of the ball in the tackle. It's across to Parker, run round with Hadley again. It's out then on this near side, and there's a try. Oh no, that ball was thrown down. That ball was thrown down, but Mr. Carter says it was a try. I think the video will show something different to that. That ball never went near the ground. He threw the ball down, absolutely sure of that. My eyes, what did yours see, Mark?
Well, I must agree with you there, John. He definitely bounced that one, no doubt about it. But the referee gave it. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. He must be looking at a different game to us, John. He was right on the spot there and didn't see it, so God knows what we'll do.
Well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, you have the facility of marking the referees, and I'm sure his mark will represent the way in which he's performed this afternoon. Not particularly good from either side. I don't care which side you happen to support. The performance of Mr. Carter this afternoon has been indifferent, to say the very least. Bob Eccles then looks to convert this one. He's certainly put plenty of boot to leather there, but it just strikes the upright, and the full-time whistle goes. 42 points to 20 the score. Keighley have lodged 7 tries, 7 goals to get their 42. And certainly they're going to come all the way down the field and acknowledge the tremendous support that the followers have given them, who have come all the way up here to Cumbria. And a very good effort, good support though as well, Mark, but what a good effort on the field from the players.
Yes, a very good effort. The only concerning thing is the 20 points that they've conceded today, albeit they've played the majority of the game with a man short, especially this second half. But yeah, the following has been tremendous up here. There must have been more Keighley people here than Barrow, John.
Yes, certainly must have been, but that's it for today. Next week it's another away game. We'll be at Blackpool and bring the pictures to you then.